Today is May 13th, 2018, ironically Mother's Day. I'm so grateful for my multiple mothers, not to mention my father and the entire family. I love that my brother had this idea. We have all worked on this dedication for months, and I think we all learned about experiences our parents had that we never knew about. Mom, Dad, and our other mother, Judy. This is all about how many people love you.
Hi, Joan and Steve. Hope you're enjoying your day, and I have a feeling you definitely are. Just the fact that your kids have put together this video says a lot about you, that you mean a lot to everyone, even your children. To me, that's the most important job, is that we have to raise our kids to be productive citizens that benefit the world, and you have done that for sure. I always enjoy hearing about your kids, and you always have a big smile on your face when you talk about them.
Okay, we were born in Milwaukee, 3433 North 8th Street. We lived on the second floor of our grandmother's home. My sister was 3 years older, and my brother 2 years younger. And we lived in the same house all our life until we went off to college, I guess, when my sister married. You know, one thing I guess our dad did when he was young was a lot of canoeing up north on the Wisconsin River. And while doing that, they found a place that they liked up near Eagle River. It was on a small lake, Lake Braganeer. And he and his friend each purchased lots on that lake. So when we were a little bit older, probably teenagers, we would go up to that lake and camp. But even before that, we oftentimes would rent a cottage up in Minocqua on Gunlock Lake. And it was a Baha'i lady who had that cottage. Her name was Beulah Brown. And when we were there would always be a dog, Rusty, the Irish setter, who would stay with us during the week. So we always had a good time up there with the dog and going out on the lake and fish.
I learned from Fred that Dad, you and Judy actually had gone to Sunday school together. Something else I hadn't realized is that Grandpa Bob and Opa were actually good friends. He said it probably had something to do with the fact that they were both engineers.
I went off to college 2 years before Steve, and then he came, and I was probably a junior at that time. And he stayed at the university about a year, I think, and then he was drafted and went to Germany. And when I graduated, I was also drafted, and I went to Japan. So we would correspond, not too often, but once in a while, and he was very kind to send me a little 35mm camera from Germany.
I love hearing the stories of when Dad and Judy adopted me. Naturally, it was likely my bald head and my adorable charm. Dad would always tell me the story of me just walking under the table as I was so short, until the day I hit my head on the bottom of the table and was totally shocked. I no longer walked under the table anymore. Not to get too serious, but Dad, Judy, and Eric quite possibly saved my life. I'm forever grateful for this family.
Well, the one thing I remember that was really nice, we were in Chicago at the time, University of Chicago, and one summer, Steve and Judy invited Kathy and John, I think, to come up and stay with you over the summer.
Yeah.
That was something unusual, and they really enjoyed that.
I've really enjoyed putting this video together and seeing some photos I'd never seen, particularly a lot of those of Judy. And interestingly enough, it's the same time here that Mindy's been researching her birth mother. I hadn't realized that it was only a year after the adoption was official that Judy passed away. I still remember getting that phone call right after my birthday party.
Unfortunately, we lost our mother, Judy, but are thankful for Judy's family still being a significant part of our lives. Family, faith, and love prevails.
And Dad, as I've become a father, I've thought a lot about what a difficult situation that had to have been. And the same goes to you, Mom. Marrying into this family took a special kind of person, and I know Mindy and I both can't tell you enough how much we appreciate you stepping into the role of being our mom.
Thankfully, Dad found another partner in life, Joan. I love watching the two of you over the years, still holding hands, looking into each other's eyes, like you did when you first fell in love. I remember the waiter when you joined me on one of my work trips, and he kept raving about how much you guys looked like you were so in love, and he thought you had just gotten married. And obviously, clearly it was quite some time since you had been married. A few quick stories, some of which may be a little bit surprising, as I was such an easy daughter. I'm guessing Mom, Dad, you guys are nodding your head and laughing. So first, Mom, I do love your chocolate chip cookies. Although I did give you a hard time the first time you made cookies because I was so used to Lucy's, but I'm sure at that point you thought, what did I get myself into with her? But I love you, and I love your chocolate chip cookies too.
Well, the one thing I remember, Joan would tell us the story sometimes. I don't remember exactly, but the first date, she was sort of appalled at the attire, that things weren't matching exactly right, and it seemed odd, the things he was wearing. And she said, what did I get myself into? But I think that all changed.
What sticks out in my mind is that Joan always says how great Steve is as a husband. Even Joan's mom loved Steve when they had the task of caring for Joan's mom when she got older. At first, she was leery. Who is this guy with this strange religion? But as she got to know Steve, she fell in love with her son-in-law. And I have to say it's because of this strange religion and Steve following the principles of that religion that he is such a great guy.
One of my favorite stories of you is when I wore you out one day. You were so tired, you just tried to lay down for some rest and quiet. Remember, I put my ear to your heart, and then I said, thank God she's still alive. No wonder I ended up in the medical arena. I have to thank you, Mama, for that alone.
Surprise! Joan, you have so many good qualities, and I admire them. But when I think of you, I think of the fun things, the simple things that we did. I'll give you a couple examples. Do you remember when we sat out back of my house and we polished off this huge bowl of Halloween candy? You know, somebody had to do it. So then another time we were driving all over Oshkosh in search of a brat barn because we were hungry for brats and we didn't want to cook them, you know.
Dad, your calmness, dedication to the family, the high faith, your children is second to none. I cherish our father-daughter times together. Every time I'm home, we get up and time when the cheese curds will be fresh, and we drive up to the cheese factory, you and I, and don't tell Mom, but you and I both know we eat most of the cheese all the way home. Oops, I guess she knows now. I love that we have our time down to a drill when we go to the EAA. We know our routine. We go to the hotel, we jump on the shuttle, you go your direction, I go mine, and we have our meeting spot where we always meet together. That I will forever cherish, and I look forward to going this year.
Well, I think we did a lot of camping and fishing, going up to northern Wisconsin. It may have influenced what you decided you wanted to do when you finally found a beautiful place near Rhinelander. I know we always enjoyed going up to visit you there on your serene lake. It was really beautiful, and you did a good job on building it. And I remember some of the stories you told about while it was under construction, and how to dig the well with the old Ford axle to use for driving down into the ground.
Also, even down to the time when I was really little and you taught me how to fish. So I have to come clean. Something that's important that I finally tell you after all these years. The fish that you had mounted on the wall was the first big fish that I caught. Well, I didn't totally catch it. When we were up north, I ran down to the dock and saw a fish belly up lying in the rocks. And so what did I do? I hooked my hook into his mouth, dragged him around to the front of the dock, and started screaming, "I caught a big one!"
I knew it. And to think you guys kept trying to get us to bring that walleye back with us to Arizona.
So thankfully we had the fish mounted and we didn't eat it because it was already dead.
Of course, I have so many memories of our vacations and driving around the country in the summer, and from the redwoods of California to Bar Harbor, Maine, which I think we saw several times as we kept driving past it, to Florida, to New Orleans. I think we saw most of the states in the country, and those are experiences I wouldn't trade for anything.
Sue, you also have helped them for years do that highway pickup.
Oh yes, we did that, as you said, for years, and it was such a nice bonding. You just when you're just walking for 2 miles, oh boy, the conversations that come out of us just often left field or talking about certain things. It was very nice. I so appreciate Joan and Steve.
The other thing that Joan talks about is their race unity picnics that they did every year for 20 plus years. Doing something voluntarily for 20 plus years is quite a feat in itself, and contributing to advancing a prejudice-free society is a needed service. Thanks, Joan and Steve, for all your efforts in this area.
I just remember how much I loved all the multicultural music.
Oh, yes, very good.
The drumming, the singing, the Mexican, everything. Everything was wonderful, and it was possible because of Joan and Steve's efforts. Primarily, they carried the ball for years. On
Made
their own.
everybody welcome. Just everybody felt very at ease with them.
So, in our community, in our entire wider Oshkosh community, Steve and Joan are known, by so many people.
Oh yes, they got the award. At the university.
Yeah.
So, and very few people have gotten that recognition.
Right.
The Martin Luther King Award.
Yes. That's pretty incredible. Well, we know Steve and Joan are pretty incredible. When I was young and just learning about the faith, I know that I could go to Steve for any questions and get good answers, or he would go and find them. Just a very sincere, loving person that affected me greatly. I loved Steve and Joan as a couple. I thought I would like to have a relationship like that and a family like that. Joan was so special to my daughters. She was always special to the children, and they felt loved, like she was a grandma. And even now, they think dearly of both Steve and Joan.
Hi Grandma and Grandpa, it's your favorite granddaughter and your least favorite granddaughter. I remember I always used to say that to Grandma, she'd get really mad at me. But I mean, I'm your only granddaughter, so I have to be both.
I met Joan when I was working part-time in a multicultural education center in UW Oshkosh. And we celebrate diversity, so I met your mom. And we click. Oh, we click. We click. So we start talking and I feel that I can trust in her and she became my friend. And it's this 1995 and now we are in 2018 after all these years and we don't fight yet. We become closer. It's what we have been all these years. And I went through a lot of things with your mom in my past life and in my new life. And my new life became more excited because my new husband.
Joan and I, along with Sue Barlow and a friend of mine, have been getting together for the past 2 years for luncheons. And I look forward to this. It's like non-stop talking for 2 hours. But the one thing is that I have to call Joan first to set up these luncheon dates because Steve and Joan are such social butterflies and their calendar is so full with vacations, other dinner dates, that I somehow, have to get my date in there amongst all that other stuff. It is difficult, but we manage to see each other about once a month.
One thing I will always remember is us all going to Disney World for Christmas time, but I don't really remember it that well, so I think we should go again soon. But I always had a lot of fun with that, and I really appreciate you guys taking us.
This is scary, really scary, because they don't only put puzzles together. They are, I will say, a Mr. Trump family, because they are the bill negotiators. Negotiators, you know what they call it? Negotiators when we go on a trip. They find the best prices and you don't believe it. I don't know if they are smart or Joan, I'm sorry. You are smart or you and Lou are cheap. It's the truth, Joan. It's smart or cheap, but they do it. They find that we have a wonderful time. And in the trips, my God, in the trips we have so much fun because we have Bronson and we have the shows that we love about it. And your mother just loved this show that we enjoy it, and she's the one who reserved the meatball show. We have so much fun. So much fun that I'm gonna tell you. So much fun that I feel I'm gonna be in my pants. It's the truth, Joan.
So I was recalling that Joan put so much effort into creating these characters for these mystery dinners that we had that everyone loved. And we were recalling how Ginny Gearhart came alive as her character. I think she was a gangster. Yeah. Or something like that. And she's such a quiet lady.
A quiet lady.
And wasn't she marvelous?
Oh, very good.
Yeah, and I think Steve was a gangster too, and one of them, and Joan was all dolled up. That's all I can remember, and we had such a wonderful time in their basement with tables and chairs and wonderful food.
Another thing I appreciate is that you guys always come to all my dance shows, the Christmas show and the recital. You guys come to all 2 or 3 shows that we have, and some people's parents that even live in town don't even make the effort to come to them, and you guys sit through my 4.5-hour shows. So thank you for all the support over all the years.
Okay, Joan, esto es for you. Joan es para ti con mucho cariño y amor. A lot of love. Muchas veces cuando pensamos en Joan, pensamos en el dicho: no hay nada mejor que una buena amiga, excepto una buena amiga con chocolate.
Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Suhm. This is Chris, one of Mel's many friends, who I know that you realize this because you so generously invited me into your home for one of my favorite holidays, Thanksgiving. And that's part of the reason why I feel so honored to be part of this video. When Eric and Mel asked me to film a video, I said, absolutely, your parents have been amazing, and I'm just thrilled to share my own story of meeting the two of you. So Mel and I arrived the day of Thanksgiving, and we walk into the house. I open the door and I hear this music that I'm familiar with and love, and it turns out to be ABBA Gold. And I look at Mel and she looks at me back, and we both kind of laugh, and she's like, oh, Mom loves to cook when she's listening to ABBA. And so of course I loved it. Who doesn't love a little ABBA? And then she also told me what an amazing cook her mom was, and I believed it when we sat down for Thanksgiving dinner because everything was delicious. After dinner, Mel and I went downstairs to watch a little TV, and all of a sudden we hear this boom, 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 and I look at Mel and I'm like, what is that noise? And she laughs and she's like, oh, Mom and Dad have started taking African drum lessons. I'm like, okay, well, I see that there's a musical theme to the family, which was great. We laughed to each other and just listened to them practicing for a little while, and then things quieted down, and I was like, aren't the kids supposed to be the loud ones at home and they're supposed to tell us to keep it down? But it was the opposite at the Suhm house. But anyways, I had a wonderful time. It really made my Thanksgiving, which is perfect for this story because I just want to say how thankful I am to the both of you for raising such a wonderful daughter and son, and really just sharing a part of your family with me. Thank you, and I love you both.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Suhm. I just wanted to say hello and thank you for all of your contributions to me as a human being. You have provided so many amazing and beautiful memories, and I appreciate that so much. Not only with spending time with your daughter Mel, but also individually, because I feel as though we've had some really great experiences together. Meeting you and spending time with you has been a great experience for me, and understanding and really appreciating the dynamic of a household. And so I just wanted to let you know how much I love you and appreciate you, and I wish you so many blessings, and I'm so happy to have you in my life.
Again, I'm so proud of Eric and Jenny and the incredible daughter that they raised. That says a lot about how we were raised by our parents. Finally, it all comes full circle. This year I told my parents that I wanted to seek out my biological parents. The amount of support you gave me was incredible. Thank you very much. Dad, you reading the letter from my biological mom, to me, couldn't have been more appropriate. One thing that came out of the letter that my mother wrote that I think is really poignant is this. I am pleased to know that my birth daughter has a much deserved and wonderful family which every child needs. She seems to have been given by them the strength of character to even help her overcome some significant obstacles and roadblocks. That's just a snippet of it.
S-U-H-M, service, understanding, honesty, morality. S-U-H-M, service, understanding, honesty, morality. Suhm.
Well, enjoy the rest of your day. And Joan, I will be calling you soon for our next luncheon date.
Hi, Steve. Hi, Joan.
Hi, Steve and Joan.
Looking forward to see you in Green Lake every year. Wish we would live closer to see you more often. And we need to go to the casino. When are we going to do that? Just you and me, Joan. No one else. And we don't even tell them anything, right?
Yeah, I wish we could be with you during your celebration.
Yeah.
But we have to be up in Gurney, but we look forward to seeing you again in Green Lake. We always enjoy being there with you and having a good time.
And sitting on the same table every year, by the window. We know always where to find you.
Love you both. Thanks for being the best grandparents ever. Bye!
We love you very much. We love you very much. We love you very much. Dear Judy, Steve, and Joan.
We had a hard time keeping this video a reasonable length, and I know there's people we should have included and maybe missed, and for that I apologize, but I know they would have all said just as wonderful things about you. You've had an impact on a lot of people's lives, and we just all wanted to let you know how much we appreciate you and love you.
So from the bottom of my heart, the footprints that you all have left on all of us are incredible and truly a part of your legacy. We love you all. I love you so much.